For centuries, empires and organized religions have presented themselves as the sole source of human morality. They claim to have authored the very concepts of charity and compassion, but the historical record tells a different story. These institutions often used their authority to resist reforms like the abolition of slavery or women's rights, only adopting them after decades of public struggle. If goodness isn't a gift granted by these institutions, where did it actually come from? We can find the answer by looking at the difference between claims and clarity. A claim is an assertion of power from above. Clarity is the process of observing what humans actually need to survive and thrive. Human rights are not high-minded philosophy. They are empirical survival tools built by the species for the species. In 1945, humanity faced the physical reality of total collapse. War had reduced cities to rubble and pushed the human organism to its absolute limit. This trauma forced a global gathering. Representatives from every culture met to establish a collective response that would prevent a repeat of this biological disaster. They produced the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 30 articles that identified the specific conditions required for human life to continue. These weren't debated as religious dogmas. They were recorded as observations of real suffering. We usually view this document through a legal lens, but these articles are actually a biological map of the human condition. The UDHR is the codified survival wisdom of our species, a manual for keeping the human system from crashing again. The most foundational rights in the Declaration are rooted entirely in shared human physiology. Bans on torture and slavery aren't based on opinion. The human nervous system sends an identical signal of trauma when harmed. Examined side by side, we see strict biological equality. Hunger, pain, and physical safety use the exact same neurological pathways in every member of the species. Rights to life and liberty ensure the human organism can maintain homeostasis. Without these protections, the body remains in a state of chronic stress, which eventually degrades the physical systems required for life. Foundational rights are the legal recognition of our shared nervous system. This biological reality extends to the mind. The Declaration protects the cognitive autonomy required for a healthy human brain. Article 18 guarantees the freedom of thought and belief, which includes the freedom to have no religion at all. The brain is a pattern recognition machine. When forced to deny observations to satisfy an external belief, it creates sustained neurological friction. This metabolic drain degrades the social trust required for group stability. When minds are restricted, this psychological tension spreads, manifesting as systemic conflict and violence. Diversity of thought is a biological necessity that prevents the human network from collapsing into chaos. These individual biological needs scale up into the way we organize our entire society. Cooperation and mutual aid are not uniquely human inventions. Across the animal kingdom, we see species that rely on group coordination to survive environmental pressures. For social animals, the math is simple. The group survives predators and resource scarcity far better than the individual. But that coordination requires specific rules to function. Rights to fair work and social security are the modern iterations of ancestral resource sharing. Just as a pack ensures every member is fed after a hunt, these rights ensure that the energy and safety of the group are distributed to maintain the strength of the whole. Morality is an emergent property of our evolution, a mechanism hardwired into our behavior to prevent our own extinction. We did not receive the truth of human rights from an authority figure. We recognized it through thousands of years of lived experience and the observation of our own nature. Human rights are the soil that holds all human roots equally. They provide the stable ground required for growth. Clarity is quiet and evolving because it stays grounded in reality. Claims are loud and defensive because they rely on the fragility of an ego or an institution. Protecting these rights is the ultimate responsibility of the individual because it preserves the biological conditions necessary for the entire species to thrive. Goodness is not owned. It is collectively grown from within us, based on the reality of what we are.